Kyle Agree and Andrew Shea here with Lake Agassiz High School Fishing League. And Andrew, we're going to walk through tonight, kind of for all of our student anglers, our boat captains, and our parents, just a little bit of how this season is going to look and what we're going to have as far as, our outings and kind of the process and everything, just so everybody has a good sense of comfort when it comes to that first outing, which is not too far off.
When it's coming up, it's going to be coming up fast. We have some changes this year that we've implemented from last year. Of course, with everything going on, we're going to do things a little bit different. But I think we got a great plan coming up to really have an enjoyable season this year.
Very much so. Looking forward to it in many ways. First off, I want to just make sure that we extend a thank you because we've got so many people who have contributed to make the growth from last year to this year in our high school league a great step forward. And I know the list is long here, but we want to make sure we include all of those folks for sure. And first off, to the Fargo and West Fargo school districts, to their administrators, to their building staff, to their faculty. Every bit of support that we could have ever hoped for has come from them, and a big thank you to all of them for allowing us the opportunity to expand into fishing and bring that to the schools. This is a very exciting thing. We've got volunteer coaches. Andrew, I know you're a volunteer coach at Fargo South, but all of these schools have at least one, if not more than one, volunteer coach.
That's correct, and that's what makes all this possible, is those volunteers stepping up, giving their time and their knowledge and experience, and to show them the kids the sport of fishing.
That's right, and there's so much time that goes into the planning of the year and all the team organization. So big thank you to those coaches. A big thank you to the boat captains. We're going to have folks step up this year, bring their boats on out to these outings, and host student anglers in their boat and teach them, be an example for them, and really show them what the sport of fishing is all about. So that's a huge thank you to them. And of course, this couldn't happen without our parents. And all of you parents, thank you. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for bearing with us this year as we've dealt with our pandemic and all the adjustments that happened through the school districts and through our adjustments that we made.
All the support and very supportive of wanting the kids still to get out and participate in this. And that's what makes it exciting.
It is. It's fantastic. So thank you as parents. Thank you to the sponsors. We have some just amazing sponsors that have stepped up and really contributed to what we're able to do and offer through the high school league. And just looking at the list here, we've got Lund Boats. They've done a spectacular job of leading the way into student angling and opening so many doors. Mercury Marine, locally raised sport and marine, and the support they have shown us. Shields, great supporter for all that they've done to help us bring the league to the place it's at today. First International Bank and Trust, new sponsor this year, which is great. We welcome them and thank them. Seafoam International, Livewell Solutions, Information Systems Corporation, and the North Dakota Army National Guard. I know there are individual team sponsors as well. Mm-hmm. These are the ones that have sponsored on the league level. Thank you to all of them.
Yeah, it's been great support from the community.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that we wanted to talk about today, we want to touch base on is, what are we doing this year? What's the plan? So that's kind of what we want to kind of also discuss in this video is we have 4 events planned. We have 3 regular events, and then we have our season championship that we're going to have at the end. And we'll touch on that a little bit because that's exciting. That's new this year for us.
Brand new.
So that's going to be really exciting. But our first 3 events, it's coming up June 30th. We're going to start with our first event, followed by one July 14th and another one July 21st. You'll notice that they're all on Tuesday nights. With the season championship happening the following week with 3 weeks in a row there on July 28th.
Yeah, it's going to be a great season. We know it's condensed. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit shortened. But we're just really happy we're going to be able to get out and go fishing.
Yeah. Our fishing times, what we're going to do is we're going to fish 6 to 9. And we're going to allow people to get out there beforehand. Go ahead and get out there. Don't put any lines in the water. Get to your spots. Get ready. Mm-hmm. At 6 o'clock, this thing's going to kick off. And we're going to start fishing. And then we want to be back at that landing at 9 o'clock.
At 9. And this, honestly, and Andrew, we found it worked so well last year. Mm-hmm. We put that responsibility on our student anglers. and they have just taken that on exceptionally well. It's an on your honor start.
Yep.
You started at 6 o'clock, and like you said, you can be anywhere in the lake, but it's up to you to know, hey, we can start fishing now at 6 o'clock.
That's correct. And then knowing what time do I have to leave? What time do I have to be back? And because I want to be off playing, I want to be back at that access before time expires.
Right.
So
and that's a change from last year,
Yep,
right?
yep.
Last year we ended at 8:30. This year we know that we can extend it a little bit, give a little bit extra fishing time.
Yep. And it helps. I mean, we're fishing relatively close lakes, and we've kind of have that list narrowed down for the most part. We're going to fish a couple in Becker County and one in Ottertail County.
Right.
Ottertail is new this year, and actually it's not an entirely new lake that we haven't fished before.
That's right.
But our lakes are, we had two new lakes, sorry, but Big Floyd, Upper Middle Cormorant,
Yes.
Franklin's the new one in Ottertail County. Those are going to be the three rotational lakes. And kind of how that works is that we're going to spread everybody out on Tuesday. We're not all going to one lake. We're going to spread out between those three lakes. You're going to get a chance to fish all of them if you fish all three events, regular season events. And you will get to fish one of those lakes throughout the season. Now, so what's new this year is that we have the season championship. And we're going to take the top 6 anglers from each team this year, put them together one day. We're going to reset the time. We're going to reset the scores. Put them on one lake for 3 hours, and between those 6 anglers, they're going to measure their 15 top fish per team. So cumulative, put together a total
Cumulative.
score for kind of a team championship series, and that's going to be exciting. That's going to be on Lizzie and Crystal, and it's going to be interesting on what the kids decide to do out there, because there's a lot of options on that chain.
Well, we're going to see, Andrew, first, we're going to see kids competing for those 6 spots, right, in each team, and that's going to be up to the coach's discretion to make the determination who's available and who's going to represent the school. But those 6 anglers will represent their school. This is going to be a school championship, a school trophy that they'll bring back to the school, trophy case, if you will, and be able to share that with other folks in their school.
No, this is something that we came up over the winter, and it's going to be very exciting when that comes about. In terms of the regular fishing events, if there's anybody have any questions, we're going to have volunteers at all of these lakes to be able to help guide them, be able to help if they need help loading, unloading boats, things like that. Last year the kids were great helping with all of that, but we're going to have another adult there to help give out scorecards if we need to, and answer questions, just so everybody's aware of that as well.
Exactly. We're excited. We think that despite a little bit shortened season, it's going to be a lot of fun. We know that folks still have busy summer schedules, and we know that some of our student anglers are maybe not going to make all of them. Some will be at all of the events, and that's okay. We really want this to be an enjoyable experience. We want to encourage the sportsmanship. We want to encourage the competition, certainly, but also really putting a huge focus on that camaraderie and learning and just partaking in the outdoors. And so I think we've set up a stage where that's going to happen in a really fun way. We do know, and we want to address this year, because of all of our COVID-19 pandemic that we've all been through. We all realize, most of us are probably tired of hearing about this and having to make accommodations, but it's the world we live in, and we want to make sure we're respectful of that. And so just a couple of thoughts. Your individual teams, we want to make sure if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, make sure you address those with your team coaches, because they've all expressed a very openness to work with all of the families, all of our student anglers, our parents, and accommodating what they have. In terms of if we have someone with special health, risks or considerations, and they want to be in a boat by themselves, we'll make sure that can happen, right? And if it's a parent who's a boat captaining, we want to make sure that everybody feels safe, that everybody feels like this is respectful of their social distancing and any concerns that they might have. We don't require masks to be worn, but we just ask if a boat captain, an owner of a boat who's volunteering their boat, if they ask to have everybody wear masks, that we're respectful of that, and do as they wish. If we can do that, that would be great. And again, just make sure open communication. We want to avoid large gatherings at the access when we're dropping boats in and taking them out. I don't foresee that being a problem. It wasn't something we encountered a lot last year, but just be mindful and be respectful, and I think we'll all be in a really good place.
So for the league this year, student anglers all paid a fee to the league, and it was $50. And just to explain, where does that money go? What do we use it for? So $25 of it goes to the Bass Federation. And what does that do? Well, it does a couple of things for the student anglers. It gets them an FLW Bass digital description magazine. Please be watching your emails in the coming week for that, as you should be getting an email on that. We will touch base more on that that first week of the season, to make sure that everybody got signed up correctly for that. But what else it does is it also provides an insurance blanket, and that covers the volunteers, covers the students, covers the boat anglers. If something ever were to happen, it's just an extra insurance blanket out there for us to tap into in case something happens. We have not seen any boat accidents in the upper Midwest with any of these events. We do not foresee that to happen. We preach safety when we go out to these, but it's something that we have to have and to move forward. So it's.
I agree. I think it's great. And by the way, Andrew is the treasurer for the league, in addition to being one of our coaches at Fargo South. And so if you ever do have any questions about, the Bass Federation and their subgroup, which is the Student Angler Federation, and the things Andrew just talked about, I know that he is always open to field those questions and provide any explanation.
Yep. So that's half of it. So where's the other half go? So the other half goes to our individual teams. So the student anglers at Fargo North, the money goes into the Fargo North account, goes into Fargo South, goes into the Fargo South account. We keep all of that separate, and we use that the coaches can use that really at their discretion in terms of if they need any items for the student anglers, if they want to do any contests, if they want to do any really anything that supplies that they need. We use them for gifts and things like that for our year-end things and stuff like that as well. So multiple of things that are used, all given back to the students, all kept in an account and monitored that way. And it's there to be used though.
It works great. It's there to be used. And one thing I would also say is that as a league, we want to be very transparent. And I know that Andrew keeps track of all those things and is certainly willing, again, to field those questions should you have any of those. And we make sure we're very diligent as a group of leaders to make sure that we're doing this all for the benefit of our kids and our student anglers. Just Andrew, let's just cover a couple of the rules, because I think we talked about the outings, we talked about our schedule, but maybe just to give a little more detail in terms of what's going to happen that night once we go on out to one of those venues that we mentioned and are out there to go fishing. And it's kind of fun because once we get to the lake, we're there with our teammate in our boat captain, but we're going to see student anglers and boat captains from other schools. We're going to get to meet folks that we maybe didn't know before, and that's the fun of this type of event and this type of organization. So a couple of things, we'll just walk through these. We do need to make sure that we have an adult boat captain in every boat. And that's a requirement with our insurance. We do need to have an adult in that boat. I know that some kids, as they get older in high school, their parents might allow them to take a boat on their own, and that's great. That's a family decision that they can make. But during our league events, we do need to have a boat captain present in the boat at all times. And that boat captain has to be the one who operates the boat while it's under the power of the main engine. So when you're going from spot to spot to spot, it's up to that boat captain, the boat owner, and their discretion. It is allowable for student anglers to operate the trolling motor. So if the boat captain feels like the student anglers are capable and understand how to operate the electric motor safely, they can go ahead and allow them to do that. So again, that's their decision. We want to be respectful of that and respectful of the fact that they're taking time out of their day to bring these student anglers out fishing. It's required that all student anglers wear a personal flotation device at all times. And I want to emphasize that at all times. I know that that sometimes we really get focused on fishing. We want to take that jacket off, or that personal flotation device, but we need to emphasize it's got to stay on for that entire duration of the event. And we do oftentimes have people out there watching us, whether they be just people who are interested in what we're doing as a league and seeing this next generation learn about boating and safety. But we do have eyes on us, and we want to make sure that we're setting a great example for others. Boat captains. Now, the requirement for a boat captain is to wear that personal flotation device anytime the boat is under the power of the big motor. So when it's up on plane, again, moving spot to spot. We would encourage that they wear it all the time, just like our student anglers. So be a good example as boat captains and keep that personal flotation device on.
And also, boat captains, another good example is set out on a boat is attach that kill switch to your PFD. That's just something that it's a good safety measure to have, and it shows the kids that is important. It takes another second, but it can mean the world.
Definitely, that's a great point, Andrew. Eye protection, wearing sunglasses, or if you have regular glasses, wearing those. Again, strongly encouraged that we all make sure we have some sort of eye protection. Number one, it's the sun. We've got sun protection, but also
we got hooks coming.
Yes.
Kyle, you and I have both seen it where we're lifting a fish up and that hook pops out and that hook goes the direction that the rod's pointed, and it creates an unsafe situation.
Yeah, it can all happen very quickly. Yeah. Not to mention when we have multiple people in a boat and we're casting or things like that. So encourage that use of eye protection. Boat captains are allowed to fish. Yeah. Which that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a great part about being a boat captain. Actually, is I get to get out there and fish a little bit, and I use that as it's good learning opportunity to teach student anglers. Hey, this is how I do it. I'm not saying that I'm the best at it, but this is how I do it, and show them some techniques. And who doesn't like an excuse to fish during the week either?
That's exactly right. Exactly. Now the caveat to that, right, Andrew, is the fact that as a boat captain you can fish, but any fish you catch as a boat captain, they do not go towards the score of the team for that night. Yep. Right? So only student anglers can score fish and points for their team. But like you said, the teaching opportunities, the good example, maybe even just having another line in the water
helps.
Yeah.
Sometimes it helps eliminate or find out what's working.
That's right. Exactly. So that's another thing. Our events, multi-species. Okay, so multi-species. We've got an example here of our score sheet. On the back of the score sheet, this is a little points table, right? So we've got several categories of fish. We've got bluegill, we have crappie, we have bass, walleye, and pike and muskie. Pike muskie is one category. Bass, largemouth, smallmouth. I don't know if we're fishing any waters where we're going to have sauger, but they would count as a walleye, right? Bluegill would really encompass some of the other sunfish species as well.
Correct.
And so we're going to pick the appropriate category once we catch a fish, right? If we catch crappie, we're going to score it as a crappie, and it's going to be dependent on length. So all we ask is, and we can use our smartphones. If we have a camera, we can use a camera, but just get a ruler, have a ruler in the boat, and get a picture of that fish on the ruler, okay, just as a verification thing, and get a picture. And we love to get a picture too of the student angler with the fish, kind of the
hero shot.
The hero shot, yes, exactly. And so that's a fun one to do as well. But we want to get those two photos for those fish, and then we want to release that fish as soon as we can. Okay, so it's a catch, record, and release format. You're going to take the length of that fish and find where that falls on this points chart, and that'll determine how many points that fish is awarded. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to be able to score up to 5 fish per outing on this scorecard. But there's no limit on the number of fish we can catch.
Yeah, catch as many as we want.
Catch as many as we want, right? And so we can fill the card up. There's a couple spots on the back if need to. And boy, would that be a good problem to have if the fish are really biting.
Right, spare sheet, another scorecard. I mean, whatever it takes to write them in there, write them in there.
Whatever it takes. Yes, that's right. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask you for the species. We're going to ask for the length of the fish, the number of points. One of the things we learned last year is we'd also like to have the name or initials of the student angler who caught it. Mm-hmm. We do have some awards, big fish awards, that come towards the end of the season. So we want to make sure we know who to award those prizes to when that time comes. So go ahead and mark them all down. At the end of the night, and this is another important thing, at the end of the night, you're going to take this scorecard and you're going to either circle or put an X or a star by your 5 fish that you want to keep the points for. Okay? And
it gets important because of there's a couple bonus points if you score a fish of each species on the scorecard. And if you determine that that's the best way to do it, that you got to make sure that you mark down the 5 different fish or the different species on that scorecard that you caught that night.
Exactly. That's an extra bonus point, and that can come in pretty handy as a difference maker if we've got some close competition on one of those nights. Now, and another thing too is if we don't know which fish you want scored, we're just going to take the top 5 off the scorecard. So it's in your interest to make sure you indicate the 5 with the most points.
Right, because also we're going to take the first 5 off the scorecard, and it's just so mark it down anyway. And anything you can, we'll be able to read it. If you mark it down, put an X by it, we'll know which ones you mean.
Yep, we'll figure that out. That's an easy one. And so we've got our scoring. We're going to turn our scorecards in at the end of the night. Every venue, every night, every event, we have a host. So there's one person designated. They're going to be there to answer questions. They're going to be there to provide any information for those who might be new to the league. And they will collect the scorecards at the end of the night. Okay.
And you'll know who that is. We'll either have it sent out who that is. That person's always standing on the boat launch dock, greeting everybody as they come in. Pretty easy to identify who's the host that night.
Definitely. And we'll probably, what we're going to most likely do is have a box where you can just drop your cards into that box as you go on by, and just make it, again, a little bit safer, more cognizant of our social distancing. But we'll drop those scorecards in. If for some reason you forget it and you find it in the truck on the way home, snap a picture of it with your cell phone, get it to your coach. We'll make sure we get that all turned in properly. The only other thing I would want to address, and that is, as per school policy, we are representing our schools, public schools in both Fargo and West Fargo, and that is as adults, as coaches, as boat captains, as student anglers. We have a no tolerance in terms of tobacco, alcohol, or illegal substances. So that's going to pertain to the trip down, trip home, and while we're on the water, representing our school and our league. So just want to make sure folks are aware of that. Represent your school well, and that sportsmanship piece is pretty important.
Yeah, and the sportsmanship last year was very impressive. I mean, you can just see it. I mean, the kids helping the boat captains with the boats, with the launches, cleaning the boats, getting everything organized out of the boat, getting everything organized when we left to get it in the boat, to get out of the boat,
putting the tarp on,
grabbing the boat at the dock, and it's easy on the boat captains when those kind of things go on. It makes it a lot easier, makes it enjoyable to take the kids out.
It certainly does. This year, Lake Agassiz High School Fishing League has opened up to student anglers down to the 7th grade, which is wonderful. We're so happy to have all of those student anglers joining us and being a part of what we're doing. But that's an opportunity for those student anglers who were here last year to be an example, to be a mentor, and to take those new student anglers on the teams under their wing and really be a good example of that sportsmanship. Like prior years, or like last year, we recognized sportsmanship from each team. We had a sportsmanship award, and our plan is to do that the same this year. And so you're going to have coaches watching, you're going to have boat captains watching, and there will be nominations through each team in terms of who exemplifies sportsmanship and representing their school in the sport of competitive fishing as a good example. So looking forward to that very much.
Yeah. So just what does it come to be with to be that? Be courteous, be respectful of the boat captains, other fishermen, other boat captains, our volunteers. Thank our volunteers whenever you get a chance, because without them none of this happens. Thank your boat captains for taking you out. They're taking time out of their day to take everybody out fishing as well. But be helpful. Just anytime you can be helpful at the docks, just makes it go a lot easier for the boat operators.
Certainly does. We're going to post this video on YouTube. We're going to share a link on the Lake Agassiz High School Facebook page, the Fishing Lakes Facebook page, so you'll be able to watch it there. Just as a comment, we do post results from our outings on that Facebook page. So if you have a Facebook account, be sure to go there, like the page, follow it. Mm-hmm. That's where you're going to see some of the photos of the outings, where you're going to see some of the results posted. And we're going to do that as soon as we can. And sometimes it might take a few hours. It might be the next morning when we post those results, but we're going to compile those and get them out as quickly as we can, as we are able. And also, Team Reach.
Team Reach. So this year we've tried a new app, more of a communication app is what we're trying to use it for. But the app is called Team Reach, and anybody who's looking to join on that can definitely shoot us an email. We have a code on there for Lake Agassiz High School Fishing League, and actually the code, I'll share it on here, is Fishing01. If you type that into the code search on the Team Reach app, you'll get to the Lake Agassiz High School Fishing League. And feel free to join in on that, and you'll be able to see the pictures that are posted. We'll try to do the results and things on there, but it can be a main point of communication for your teams, as your coaches can you can send direct messages to the coaches, you can send direct messages to each other, you can send group messages to the entire team. So be on the lookout for that. If you have any questions or you have any difficulty with that, you can reach out to me. Kyle will put our contact information on this as well. You can reach out to me, and I can make sure I get you set up in that app, or reach out to your coach.
And that's a fun app, not just for student anglers, but we should also mention to parents. Make sure you get signed up on the Team Reach app, because coaches can communicate directly to you as a parent and boat captain.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that everybody can know what's going on. If you can't make it or something like that, that's a great place to be able just to post it. Everybody sees it. Hey, I'm not going to make it tomorrow night. I'm not going to make it tonight. It's a quick way for everybody to find out what's going on and keep up to speed.
Yeah, great tool. We're glad to be able to be using that this year. We're looking forward to a great season. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. And again, as Andrew said, if you have any questions, be sure to reach out to your coaches or to us, and we're more than happy to help out. Thanks a lot, and have a great season.
Thank you.